This is the first tutorial of the Humanian Belief Manual. For overall orientation, let's just remember that the website is humanianity.com, and if you go to that, you arrive at the home section, and then along the bottom are the different sections of the website. And so we're going to the Belief Manual section of the website. So this is where we begin. The yellow color means especially important. So one thing to notice is that there's immediately the option to either explore the belief manual by entering it without being signed in, or you can register and sign in if already registered, and then you can participate fully. Otherwise, no data entry can be completed. At the last minute, it will tell you you can't do this because you're not signed in. We will go ahead and begin this time without being signed in. So here is the basic belief manual. You'll see at the top are all of these buttons, and then in the bottom section here are outlined headings. The beliefs, proposed beliefs that are in the manual are under these headings. So if we click on one, we find out what's under it. And so we can see the different beliefs under the headings and subheadings. If we want to see just one subheading, then we click on just that one subheading, and that's the only set of beliefs that we see. And then if we click on this again, that will close that, so we don't see any beliefs. Then we can open it again by clicking again. We notice that the beliefs are either in red or blue. Red stands for ethical and blue for existential. All of this is explained in the home section under detailed intro in great detail, but it's also explained here in the yellow ask button, which explains everything that is being viewed. So now if we notice that some buttons have solid outlines and some do not, these are turned on. So if we wanted to see just the existential beliefs, we would turn off the ethical beliefs by clicking on it, and we just see existential beliefs. If we want to see just ethical beliefs, then we can turn off existential, which will automatically turn on ethical beliefs. And then we can also turn existential beliefs back on. We also notice unendorsed and endorsed. What that means is whether it's endorsed by at least one Humanian organization. And that means that 90% of the individuals in that organization, if they are registered in the belief manual, agree with that particular belief. Unendorsed means that no organization has that characteristic. And now there needs to be at least two people. So if within one organization there are two people who agree and nobody else is registered, then that would make it an endorsed belief. So we can see which ones are unendorsed, and we can see which ones are endorsed. And we can see all of them. And notice, by the way, that there's a sentence here that describes what one is looking at. So if one is looking at only endorsed beliefs, then that's what it says. If one is looking at only endorsed ethical beliefs, that's what it says. So that's a convenient place to look. Okay, so now uh, what does definitions refer to? Well, if you look at some of the beliefs at the end, it will say that there are um, some definitions attached, whereas others there are not. And so here, 3 definitions have been attached to this. Okay, so if we wanted to see the definitions, we would turn definitions on. And here we can see um, the definitions attached to this belief. And we'll have more to say about how to do that, how to create a definition and attach it to a belief, and so on. So we'll turn off definitions now. The next, now definition list is something separate we'll be looking at when we are exploring how to do things in the belief manual. But basically, if I click on this, it will give a list of all the different definitions, but it also enables one to do various other things. Notice that I'm always going to the go back button here. Don't use the browser's back button. Okay, the next is every belief actually has its own unique belief number. And if one wants to see that, one clicks on numbers, turns that on. And here are indeed the numbers. They are 5 digits with leading zeros. Okay, we can turn those off. Now, you notice that this belief here has one comment. And so one can turn on comments. And indeed, this one has a comment, and so the comments button is grayed. And so we can take a look at that. And there it is. So now one can also, if one is signed in, one can enter his or her own comments under the belief and do various other things. Voting is shows essentially the voting statistics for the belief, how many people agree and disagree, and so on. Now, belief number 1 is actually the Humanian ultimate ethical principle. So, by definition, if one is Humanian, one agrees with this. So that's the option of disagreeing with it is not present in the Humanian belief manual. Now, notice that under each belief, it first tells you how many endorsing organizations there are, and then it tells you what the basic format is for the voting. All those who agree, yes. All those who disagree, no. And all those who have not expressed an opinion, question mark. All is the total number of registered people in the belief manual. And for this belief, there is 1 person who has agreed, none who have disagreed, and 21 who have not yet expressed an opinion. And then this says you, but you must be registered and signed in to vote. So you can't, for instance, vote on this. It tells you, well, you've got to be registered and signed in. So no change was made here of this. Now, this line here, manuals, can show 4 belief manuals. Now, by belief manual now, I'm not referring to the overall Humanian belief manual, which is everything in here, but it is just like your belief manual or my belief manual or the belief manual of an organization. Um, now, when you sign in, you will automatically have a belief manual. It may, starting out, it would just have the Humanian ultimate ethical principle in it, and then you could start adding to it by voting on the various beliefs. Um, if you're signed in, then the first button that you'd see here would be your own belief manual, and we'll see that in the next tutorial. Also, you can visit another individual's belief manual, and notice that here is where one would visit. So one can go ahead and click on visit, and one can visit an organization's belief manual or an individual's belief manual. And we will just do this as an example. Enter part or all of an individual's username. So if I just put in one letter, A, then I'll get a list of people. And so I'll go ahead and click on one of these. Now you see we have here this individual whose username has been changed for this purpose of this tutorial, has agreed to 3 beliefs and has disagreed with none, but has 99 more to perhaps express an opinion about. And so down here, we see the same thing as last time, but we also see visit individual. In other words, the individual who's being visited has voted yes to this. If we wanted to see those that the individual disagreed with, and notice, by the way, it says all beliefs that Joanne agrees with, so it's still explaining what is being shown. We can turn this on instead, and notice, of course, there are no beliefs. And by the way, notice that under each heading, in the heading, is a statement as to how many beliefs there are and how many are being shown as requested. And requested was just all those that Joanne disagrees with, and there aren't any. And then we have, so we'll explore this more in the next tutorial. And by the way, we can also contact Joanne because her belief manual is being clicked on. We'll go into that in a later tutorial. Okay, so then we have this third line here. It says show all selected beliefs or just those, and then you can choose. So right now what is chosen is all. And so it's all beliefs that Joanne agrees with. But we can say choose, and let's say more than 100 were entered more than 180, last proposed or modified more than 180 days ago. Turn that on. And see all beliefs Joanne agrees with, but just those proposed or modified 180 days ago. And so here we can show that, and notice that that this is showing 3 beliefs shown as requested. So if one is looking for those beliefs, one can see that they are all under uh, this heading. And then here, it's two of them are shown, and one is shown here. And sure enough, here they are. Here's the two that are being shown, one of which is the Humanian ultimate ethical principle. So she has actually only voted twice, it appears, um, well, of this set. Um, let's see, and agreed with by, we can add something in here. We can agree, we can say 1 to 10 individuals. Um, and so this is all beliefs Joanne agrees with, but just those proposed or modified 180 days ago and agreed with by 1 to 10 individuals. Um, and we see that no beliefs meet those qualifications. So we can turn this off by clicking this. That has turned it off. And there's also the possibility of choosing some percentage of those voting yes, yes or no, or agreeing, and so we can cancel that out. Now, let's cancel this, and we can either do it here. Well, let's see, if we cancel here, it keeps it, but if we cancel here, that will remove it. But we also could just have gone to back here and click this all, which cancels out all of these. So that's a basic picture of what exists on this in the belief manual, except for some of these other buttons that have to do with what you can do, and that will be in Humanian Belief Manual tutorial number 2. So I hope this has been helpful. Please continue.